I'm on a mission. That mission to help find a cure for the #1 genetic killer of children, SMA. But to do that, I need your help. I'm going to put you back in your chair, okay? Okay, here we go. As you can probably tell, my granddaughter Scarlet doesn't have much strength. In fact, she essentially has no muscles. And barring a medical miracle, her mother, my daughter Hillary, tells me Scarlet will never walk. Do you think she'll ever walk?
I don't think so. And that's not just me being not hopeful. I think I'm more worried about making sure that she can breathe easily. Illnesses won't affect her as severely as they do now. That she can go to school without worrying about getting sick and have a normal lifespan.
Scarlet was born with one of the most common childhood genetic diseases you've never heard of, SMA.
SMA stands for spinal muscular atrophy. It is a neuromuscular disorder.
Dr. Harold Finkel is a pediatric neurologist with the Michigan Institute of Neurological Disorders in Farmington Hills.
SMA is a rather common disorder. It appears that approximately between 1 in 5,000 to 1 in 10,000 children will have SMA. It's estimated that the carriers are 1 in 50 individuals.
That's pretty prevalent for a condition that a lot of people have never heard about.
Unfortunately, the public does not seem to be quite aware of SMA as being that common.
It's much more common than it seems the awareness is out there.
Ben and Gretchen Dorer had never heard of SMA until Jace was diagnosed with it when he was just 16 months old.
He's like any normal boy to us. He just can't walk. He's got a lot of challenges ahead of him.
Now Jace and Scarlet share a very uncertain future, afflicted with a deadly disease for which there is no cure yet. 3. But as frustrating as it is for me to see my granddaughter in a wheelchair, and as painful as it is for our family, it is a camera, isn't it? To imagine what lies ahead for Scarlet, there is hope. Dr. Finkel tells me of all the neuromuscular diseases, SMA may be the closest to a cure, with protocols already in human trials. So how close are we to a cure then?
Well, as you mentioned, some of these phases are now in the early stages of human testing, and probably at that point, maybe 3-4 years or so before we get to something that is available to the public.
It was a genetic needle in a haystack for a long, long time.
But now Ben says they've isolated the responsible gene and they've begun human testing on a technique to repair it. In fact, Jace was just tested in Chicago to see if he's a candidate for those trials.
Scarlet hasn't qualified for any studies yet, but kids like Jace who could, you know, they could be the game changer for kids, and that's huge.
I hope that through science that one day we'll see him walk. I mean, that's my dream.
Do you find that there is that hope out there?
I think so, yeah. I think if these trials start just becoming mainstreamed, who knows? I mean, she could walk, for all I know.
The science really seems to be blossoming right now. You know, this is an unfortunate disease, but in all the history of children being born with this disease, this really seems like the most promising time.
So what does it take to get us closer to a cure for this?
As with many things, finances come down to the bottom line. So finances is a big part of it.
And money springs from awareness. Remember last summer's viral Ice Bucket Challenge? It dragged ALS right out of the shadows of neuromuscular diseases and raised an astounding $220 million plus for ALS. Ironically, a close cousin to SMA.
I mean, even the people who weren't giving money, it was just they were all dumping water on their heads because it was the cool thing to do. And suddenly ALS becomes the cool thing. So hopefully for SMA, that's next.
Remember that medical miracle I talked about that may someday see kids like Jace and my granddaughter Scarlet walk? Well, maybe it's just one cold bucket of water away. Can I get a kiss? Thank you.
You're welcome.
So as you can see, I need your help to spread awareness about SMA. We're just one bucket of water away from this. And of course, donations of cash can't hurt, but to push that research just a little bit faster, and they're so close. You can find out more about SMA and Scarlet's story specifically at www.scarletsmile.com. We have a link to that up on our website right now, WXYZ.com. Please do me a favor, share that story to your friends for me. We're trying to get that awareness out there.
It's so amazing to see Scarlet and Jace side by side because he's moving in his arms, and you said they affect children differently.
I think in effect they're genetically identical in the same missing gene, but it just affects kids differently. So Jace has a lot more movement. He can crawl. Scarlet never has. She's never been able to crawl. She's never done anything beyond one time rolling over, and that was it.
Wow.
But it affects kids differently. Yeah. Kids can live into, I've been getting emails tonight from dozens of people whose kids have been living into their 20s and 30s with SMA, and others who didn't get past 2 years old. Oh. So it's a huge range out there. So the best thing to do is just cure this thing. Okay?
So we have to brainstorm, maybe not the ice bucket challenge, but we need another challenge.
We're going to come up with some challenge to get people out there.
So everybody can do it and the word will get out there.
That's what we need to do.
There you go.
Drag it out of the shadows.
We will do that. Rexy, right?
I'm in.